What's up, my friend? Welcome back to another video. And today, I kind of want to talk about something that I think is quite underexplored in our industry and really any creative art in general. And that is to answer the question of musical progress. Are we making musical progress? How can we tell if we're making progress? And I think it's an interesting topic because it's very difficult to really quantify, compared to something like the maths or something like sciences, where there are definitive answers in many cases. For music or any creative art, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to kind of pinpoint if we're making improvements in certain areas. So I kind of want to boil it down to two concepts today that are very, very simple and they give you an action step at the very end to help you take the next steps as well. Before we dive into it though, I want to share two really quick things with you. The first is if you're looking for that step-by-step path to go from your initial idea to the polished final master, then I want to give you complete free access to my workshop called the Complete Composers Framework. It's an on-demand video workshop you can watch anytime, and it basically outlines the key elements, the key steps you need to follow to go from beginning to end of coming up with a track and polishing it up and then finishing it. And I'll also include my virtual orchestration roadmap there as well, so you can have some tips on how to improve your mockups and make your virtual orchestration sound as good as they can be. So it's completely free. If you want to check that out using the description link below, you can find it there. And again, you can watch it anytime as my gift for checking out this video today. And the second thing is that this week is the final week we're actually accepting applications for the Virtual Composer Summit. So this is a live 7-week cohort that I host with Ryan Leach. We take composers all the way from the very beginning to the very end. There's weekly masterclasses and weekly track feedback calls, so you get that customized feedback and critique. There's also a private Discord server where you can interact with the other members. It's very tight-knit. It's exclusive to this group. And if you're interested in joining us, feel free to check that out below as well. I'll include a link in the description where you can apply if you think you'll be a good fit. If you want to work with me and Ryan Leach in closer proximity, that's the perfect way to do so. So just so you know, the applications will close at the end of this week on Friday. So that being said, let's kind of dive into this question. Are we making musical progress? And again, like we said, it's very difficult to quantify, but I think if we nail it down to two elements, then I think it will really help us. The first is speed. So how quickly are we improving at a certain skill, right? So maybe that could be you're trying to transcribe a piece of music, you're trying to figure out what the harmony is, or you're trying to play it by ear, whatever it might be. That skill comes over repetition and it allows you to do it faster and faster over time, right? And part of it is muscle memory and familiarity with the concept or the skill, but it really just comes down to repeating that same process over and over and over again. So if we're trying to transcribe a melody or harmony, then we just have to continue transcribing more melodies and more harmonies, and the speed will gradually pick up. So if you can see yourself getting faster at a certain skill, for me at least, that's a great indicator that I'm getting more comfortable with that skill, therefore I'm improving at that skill. And so it allows me to take a look at that skill from a more general perspective, if you will. I'm not really drilling down to the absolute details of making sure everything is properly done or whatever, but just the overall speed. Am I doing this at a faster rate compared to before? You could always like set a timer, right? So if you like say, okay, I'm going to give myself 5 minutes to transcribe this harmony, set that timer, and after 5 minutes, see how far you've gotten, right? Maybe listen to that one piece, come back the week after and do it again. Naturally, you might be already more familiar with that piece, but at least you can see how much faster you are at doing that skill, at transcribing that harmony or that melody. So I think speed is a great indicator of how fast we're improving at something. And the second element is accuracy. So this one is a little bit, I think, clearer because there's more likely to be right or wrong answers, right? We're kind of comparing to how close we are to the final result we're trying to reach. So maybe the first time you try something, it's less accurate. You find that you're having the wrong answers. It's difficult to hear certain chords maybe, you're trying to transcribe them. But then as you continue to practice, it becomes easier and easier. And not only do you increase at the speed, it becomes faster for you, but it also becomes more accurate. So you're getting the right answers, you're transcribing correctly, you're orchestrating correctly, whatever it might be. And you're really finding that your success rate in that skill is going up and up and up. And eventually you want to try to reach 100% if you can. Obviously, depending on what the skill is, depending on what music you're listening to, it's going to vary, right? But overall, if you're trying to work on a certain skill, I want you to keep these two elements in mind. How fast are you at that skill? And can you see yourself getting faster at that skill over time? And that comes with repetition and just doing it again and again. And the second element is accuracy. So, how accurate are you at that skill? Do you find that you're becoming more successful at this skill over time? Is it becoming easier for you in that regard as well? And I think these two concepts are general enough that you can apply them to multiple facets in our creative process, but not too general where you can't have any measure of improvement over any period of time, or any form of success. So those are the two elements, speed and accuracy. I think to apply this, what we would really want to do is just to decide first of all, what skill are we trying to improve on? So maybe you're trying to be better at playing by ear, or you want to be able to hear a certain chord and identify what that is. So that's a very specific goal. I want to be able to hear chord qualities. I want to be able to play them on my keyboard. I want to be able to identify them by ear. So you start with a simple piece of music. Maybe you find that it's a little bit more difficult at the very beginning. You can time how long it takes you. Maybe it's a short, like 30-second piece of music. So listen through, try to transcribe the chords, the harmony, and time how long that takes you. Then the next day or the next week, whenever you have the time, try a different piece of music, maybe just as similar or just as simple. Listen to it again, time yourself, and see if you can start to recognize those chord qualities a little bit easier, and maintain the accuracy as well. So you don't want to force yourself to speed up, but you also want to make sure you are correct at the same time, right? So you're trying to get the accuracy there, but you also don't want to take too long as well. So that's the point of the timer. So really nail down what specific skill you're trying to improve on, and then measure your progress through those two elements, the speed and the accuracy over time. Are you becoming faster over time? And are you getting more successful and more accurate at that skill? All right. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. I'd love to hear your thoughts below. How do you personally track your measure of improvement? Whether it's in music or anything else, I'd love to hear from you. I think for exercise, I kind of relate music to exercise quite a lot, like working out. I think it's quite a lot more easy to kind of tell, because in exercise and working out, there's a couple ways you can tell improvements. One is the ability to lift heavier weights if we're doing weight training, and the other is staying at the same weight but getting tired, like getting fatigued slower, right? So it takes longer for you to get fatigued. You can do more reps at that same weight. That's another way to tell that you're getting stronger. So the answer usually is to either do more reps to get to failure, or you increase the weight and repeat the same number of reps, right? So that's how you know you're making muscle progress. Of course, in any other form of sport, the variables are going to be a little bit different, but yeah. So just make sure you're improving. Really nail down what skill you're trying to improve, and use these two measures. Okay, so I hope that made sense. I'd love to hear your thoughts below. And again, if you want that step-by-step framework to go from your initial idea to the polished final master, you want those steps all filled in, then I want to give you free access to my workshop called the Complete Composer's Framework. You can find that down below in the description, and you can get access to that anytime you like. Just watch it and really put that into practice to see those results. And again, we're closing applications for the Virtual Composer Summit this week on Friday. So if you're interested in working with me and Ryan Leach in a closer proximity in a 7-week intensive program, have your tracks reviewed by us live, we'd love to have you, and you can apply down below in the description as well. You'll find that link, and we'd love to hear from you. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next video, and I'll see you very, very soon. Take care.